Welcome to Brothers. This is Dr. Paul.
And Mr. Jenka.
So here we are coming at you with a very innovative set of instructions and advice. The kind of thing that you have not seen before.
Unique.
And the purpose behind us providing this information to you is that together, Paul and I realized that there's a big gap in our culture today. There's a lot of hunger for fathers, hunger for fatherly advice for men today. But if you really get down to what's really going on, a father is a guy who's a generation above you, and obviously he's very needed. His kind of advice is very needed. But with technology, rapidly changing all the time and culture rapidly changing, he might be in some ways a little bit out of touch with what you have to contend with. There might be a lot of areas where he can't help you at all.
Especially cultural differences, like first generation. We haven't touched upon that, but yet someone who comes from the old world as kids and new kids here in America, they might have a total disruption culturally from their fathers.
Yeah, I agree. And so we realized that the kind of advice that guys are hungry for today and are really missing, needing, is from big brothers. A guy who has, you know, been through the school of hard knocks, learned a lot of lessons, and has a lot to teach you, but also understands your generation because he's in it.
Right. In areas, obviously, with women and schooling, career stuff, all the things, he kind of came before you. He was the wave right ahead of you and he kind of experienced things. So some things worked out in his favors, others didn't. Maybe he has some regrets. He can inform the younger kid's choice or his siblings' perspective and choices.
I agree. I think one of the things that's unique about what we can do together here is that even if you've had really great big brothers in your life, or really great mentors, or a really great dad, there's only so much information that you can pull out of that relationship. There's naturally going to be some competitive drives that go on throughout your lifetime. So there'll be times when you'll get along with your brothers. They'll give you, good advice, good information. There'll be times when you'll get good advice from your dad. But sooner or later, there's going to be competitive situations with them where they're going to cut off from you a bit. They're not going to help you out. Well, there's nothing competitive between you and us.
Right.
And Paul and I are here to be fully available to you to help you with what we feel are the 25 most crucial dilemmas, crucial problems that big brothers are uniquely situated to help you with.
Right. 25 practical tips for a better life, really. And as you just said, the two of us together, it's kind of like a tandem approach. Some folks might have had an older brother, but he may have been lacking in certain areas. It might just not have been his expertise. So he couldn't have passed on his own experience or his advice. But together, I think we've got a pretty good coverage on the issues facing young men and men of any age, actually. So I think together we can offer a comprehensive
I think so
set of
too.
advice.
We make a good team, and we're going to introduce you to all the topics in a little bit here. But I thought this would be a good chance in an introductory way to get to know Paul and what he brings to the table, and myself, Dr. Paul, what I bring to the table, so you know what you're in for here as far as our breadth of education and experience helping other men.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like
Tell us about you.
a little bit of a lineup. Well, um, on the family side, I'm actually an only child. I have well, that's not technically true. I have a half sister who's Parisian. She lives abroad, but I'm first generation, I guess you'd say. On my father's side, he's from Europe. He's Czech, and he came here with very little education. And my mother is native born American, and she has a PhD and is very academic. So that already there, I kind of have two schools informing me. And then their career paths are very different. My father was a machinist, low level engineer. My mother, an artist and educator. And my personal story is I grew up and I went on, I was a very strong student and athlete. I went on to Harvard University, studied physics, and then I have been an on and off entrepreneur. I worked in Hollywood for a little, and then I worked on Wall Street for about 6 years in a very competitive industry. So I have that business experience, the business experience of starting my own companies. It was pointed out about 5 or 6 years ago that I was very effective with women, and I was encouraged to, first as a joke, I was encouraged to write about it, and then I did, and then it sort of steamrolled, and there was a whole series of events. I hadn't even planned this, but so of course I'll offer that perspective when it comes to women and relationships. And I've had short-term relationships with tons of women, beautiful women. I've also had very serious relationships, about 6 long-term. So I can comment on my perspective on what it takes to make something work functionally long-term. So in that area, I can offer.
Well, I think that really starts to speak to a kind of organization that we can have in helping guys. One of the things I teach in other areas of study is that masculinity itself has really 2 feeds to it. It's got you're attracting women, your ability to attract women, the role of women in your life being satisfying to you. And then the other area is what I call your mission, progress on your mission. You could also say that might be your career if you've settled on a career that's really satisfying to you and that you really are well suited for. But your career or your mission is the other area of life. So you're going to find in these 25 crucial topics and dilemmas and challenges that we're going to help you overcome that more often than not, they're going to be able to be pegged into one of these 2 categories. It's women or it's your career progress.
Right. I've heard in other areas they say men usually confront challenges in romance or finance.
Nice.
So it's true. I mean, if I look at my own journey, it's if I get hung up or need to grow, it's usually because I don't have the tools to handle some female situation in my life or my career. I'm not satisfied, or I'm stuck, or I'm fumbling. So really, it is those 2 categories. And then, of course, we have 25 topics, so the nuance breaks down. But those are the bins. Yeah.
I once had a buddy who was going to marry a doctor, and he introduced her at a party once accidentally as his fiancée.
It is finance.
Yeah.
Oh, a little Freudian slip.
Yeah, so it covers both areas, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
Finance and romance. Well, I think one of the things that's really cool, really unique that you bring to the table then, Paul, is this kind of aspect of a big brother who has seen it all and done it all.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest fears of a younger brother is that, what do I do when I go out into the world? I mean, there are so many choices out there, so many options. Who am I? What do I want to be with my life? And he gets to see his older brothers, his big brothers, go out there and make things happen and try to figure it all out, figure out where you fit in society and where you're going to most benefit your life and your lifestyle. And there's a fear about the unknown. There's a fear about, what do I do physically? What choices do I make? How do I use my body? How do I use my arms and legs to get things done? Traditionally, psychiatrists see this as an area where fathers handle it. Mothers teach boys what emotions mean, and fathers teach boys how to do, what to do with the body, how to use your body to profit, to attract women. And I think the unique place of a big brother is that he's just like you, and he's already been there, and he understands his emotions, and he knows how to use his body to make things happen. He's a doer, and you are that because of your background, your parents. You're like a world traveler, multinational guy. You understand a lot about life through having been an explorer,
Right.
being willing to go on adventures and explore.
It reminds me when you say fear of the unknown. For this story, just a lot of the topics we'll deal with. We'll talk a bit formally, I suspect, in the beginning, and then there'll be anecdotal stuff from our own lives and
Somewhat humorous stuff too.
Yeah, I hope. Some storytelling, and the first story that pops in my mind here on the outset is you talk about fear of the unknown, and I haven't died yet because I'm talking here on the mic. So everything I've been through has made me stronger. That's an old saying. And I remember I signed up for a new job in 2006. It was a very high level hedge fund job, and I had to hit the ground running. And they gave me a lot of responsibility and a high pay, and I kind of took the job on a bluff. I was a bit over my head, I thought. And my first assignment was literally within the first week I worked. I remember I started Valentine's Day, day after Valentine's Day. They're like, all right, you're going to Beijing on your own, and you have to like meet all these company CEOs and make a decision. I'd never been to China. I'd never been on my own on such a big budget. And basically I just got on the plane and I just did the next right thing. I like showed up at the conference, shook hands, met people, and it was fine. I was accommodated. Everything was taken care of. And I came back. And the point of that is that I returned to New York, and now I had like a trip to China on my own to conduct business under my belt at 30 years of age. Whereas there was fear before, and I hadn't had that. After I came back, it's like, yeah, I can do China. I can travel there and conduct business. No biggie. So it's basically, usually the FDR got it right. We only have fear what is it?
We have nothing to fear but fear itself. I think that might have been Truman.
Oh, Truman.
Whatever.
Right.
He's kind of a boring president, so I'm not surprised. I kind of forget that.
Let's attribute it to FDR. So, yeah, that was the experience. And it really, realizing that I can jump on a plane and go anywhere in the world and basically present myself and get what I need to get done was very emboldening. Because, yeah, and now for my business with travel, et cetera.
I think one of the things that you're also speaking to is that you're a guy who has always been willing to kind of submit yourself to the elements out there,
right?
And just have a go at it and take your hits, and then make things happen anyway. Learn quickly. You're a very quick learner. I think that speaks to how to do things right quickly. Now, what I might bring to the table to contrast that is how to do things wrong.
Slowly. No.
and slowly. and how to learn from mistakes. I don't want to color myself as the guy that made all the mistakes, but I have made a lot of mistakes. And by contrast, I've been devoted and very extremely disciplined at one thing at a time in my life. So when I'm talking about having made a lot of mistakes, I know what it's like to be a guy who is on the wrong path and doesn't know it, and to evolve into knowing I'm on the wrong path, and then taking a very long time to try to plot and strategize what is the right path and how do I get off of this.
That's interesting.
One of those examples is medicine, training in medicine. I'm a physician, I'm a psychiatrist, and I've spent a lot of years, most of my adult years doing medicine, and it works for me. It's right for me. I'm right for it. But the way I do it can't be just the guy that goes to the office and then goes home to his family, and that's that. Just a cog in a big healthcare wheel. I've never fit into that mode of doing it because I have a lot of ideas to share. I have a lot of interpretations of how science works. And my big thing has always been taking the complex science and kind of simplifying it for people. And part of the reason that happened for me is because I had to make myself understand it. I had to make it simple so that I knew how it worked, so I could explain it to others. So I started out life, growing up in the country, and I had some very backward parents, weren't very good parents. In a way, I felt like an orphan. But I did have younger brothers and a younger sister, and I kind of fell into this role of parenting them, kind of in my parents' absence. So it grew in me a big hunger for mentoring, obviously. I had to be everyone else's mentor so they could kind of make it and survive. And that helped me to keep my head on straight, too, to have a role, something to do. So I took the leadership position, but I always wanted a mentor of my own. I always wanted a bigger brother of my own. And so I think in part doing this product and doing what I do for a living is a kind of a way of setting things right in my own life because I've had to figure it out on my own. I've had to be my own big brother a lot. And through taking all those hits, making all the mistakes I've made with women and in career, I've learned so much. I really want to share it. It's worked for me. I've figured it out. I'm all good now. I love my life, and want to give that to you guys now too. So it's a good 1-2 punch, good combination. Paul's gift for figuring things out quickly and getting it right, and my ability at looking at all the fine details of mistakes, how to analyze them and turn them to your advantage.
All right. I as you're talking, I'm thinking you describing my journey a bit. I had here. It's my birthday actually today, 34, and
Yes, happy
yes,
birthday.
thank you. And sometimes I reflect on paths not chosen, and I think like, well, I can't believe if I had done that, or I tend to live in the moment. I don't really live too much in regret. In my 20s, that would plague me a little bit more about choices not taken. But the hard knocks that I've suffered, some of the failures, it's actually, I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it for like a smooth silver platter journey. And it sounds a little cliche, but the truth is, like, some of those harder knocks have made me tougher. And it's
Yeah.
like I can look and I can withstand a pretty strong gust these days, and I can see where the wind is coming from, and I can anticipate. I think if I had kind of had more of a rosy journey in my late teens, 20s, and early 30s, I don't think I'd have a steady footing. I'm very sure-footed in some situations, and I look around and I don't see other men as sure-footed. And I think that's a result of getting knocked around a bit and surviving.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you hear about people winning the lotto.
Right.
It's about, on average, 3 years
Before they're broke.
before they're broke again.
Brutal.
Or children of the wealthy who have a trust fund,
Mhm.
they never get hungry. You know, they used to call it in medicine when you were a resident and you were looking for moonlighting work because you made like 20 grand, 30 grand a year working 100-hour weeks. You tried to get some moonlighting, which was a little higher paying, and they called it being hungry. You know, they were like, are you hungry enough to work some extra shifts all night? And I think the irony is we all want to feel good. We all want to feel happy. We all want a great lifestyle. But there's something to be said for always having a little bit of hunger to you, keep you moving forward, striving for something, setting these goals and attaining them. So I've been hungry most of my life.
That's good.
And it's yielded a lot, you know, through all these mistakes I've made. Give you an example. When I was 20 years old, I had it was, I think, my third girlfriend. She was really hot, bright, artistic, and her dad was a doctor, and she really got it, what it would be like for me to go through medical school and then be a doctor. And everything gelled really well, and I proposed to her. We got engaged. We were going to get married. But in the end, I got swallowed up by the time demands of medical school. And I was like, you know, you can't just be hanging out with me all the time. You know, I'm constantly studying. I want you to have a good life and have friendships. So go out. I want you to go out. And I'd be studying. Well, she went out a little too much and ended up cheating on me. And it broke up. And it was this devastating experience in my life because it happened the same week my dad died of a heart attack. So I believe, looking back, I went into a depression for a number of years, and the end result of it was I had to make a choice. I mean, I'm either gonna, you know, wither away and just, even though my body's still here, kind of die spiritually, or I'm gonna start looking toward the future. And I really got, you know, you say you're very present-minded and always have been. I've always been, in my adult life, very future-minded and kind of enjoying the future now that looked impossible to me, you know, years and years ago. And over time, finding that, yes, with enough ongoing discipline and with enough drive and faith in yourself and enough purity of bringing out into the world your unique gifts. In other words, not getting all contaminated by other people's goals for you, but knowing who you are and what your goals are and what you want to give to the world, that always saw me through. In times when I've lost jobs or I've been really confused about what career direction to take, all the most crucial decisions got all cloudy, made cloudy by, money considerations. Should I take the job because it's high paying? Should I stay with the girl because she looks good on paper? Through all that stuff and all the confusion, what always saw me through was going inside and knowing who I am and knowing what my mission is in life, what I want to bring to the world. That mission always saw me through. Even when it looked impossible, it was something that could always be counted on in a way that no boss, no employer, and not even any mentor, even the best mentors I've had, can be relied on as much as knowing who you are and what your mission is.
Yeah. You remind me of the words of Winston Churchill. And he says, if you're going through hell, keep on going.
Nice.
Which I think is those were words during World War II. I just think it's so brilliant.
Maybe it was FDR that said that originally.
I just love the idea of perseverance, because every man hits he has his own personal winner where he struggles and it's difficult. And one thing you mentioned that I'd like to share in terms of my arc, and more of, as we discuss stuff, more of the personal facets of my life will come out. But actually, when you talk about a girl on paper, when I was 18, on paper, I was probably one of the most enviable kids in the country. I had been admitted to Princeton, Harvard, Stanford, and Berkeley. Berkeley, a full scholarship with stipend paid. Princeton, almost a full scholarship. Stanford and Harvard, they don't give. They only give need-based scholarships. They don't. I took the prom queen to prom. I had just got my braces off, and I was just like young. I was a swimmer. I was like built, handsome young guy. All these girls liked me. The future was before me, and I had the most potential, like the most enviable situation, and yet at the same time, my ego was getting so out of control that I strapped on such a level of entitlement that over the next 5 years, I ground into the ground so much stuff that could have been good. And so I'll share with that as we go on. And you remind me when you talk about the hunger. And then subsequently, I went through a lot of down periods and very difficult stuff, like coming to terms ish. And it's because my ego, my entitlement, and my cockiness, and my I'm different, I'm special, I don't have to work for stuff, took over, and I basically eroded all these gifts. And I had to recover that and find a truer sense of. And I remember thinking it was a bit of self-sabotage, because I remember thinking on the first year of school before I started, I thought, you know what, this is so cliche, do this, just be a high performer. Only great men are born out of the crucible of difficulty. So I have to implode before I can find my true self. I remember having this thought, and it all gels, and then I can grow to greatness.